The latest on the plans to demolish the historic Pennsylvania Avenue Viaduct in Joplin. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
Baxter Springs Police Department put out a post about vehicle break-ins. Tonight on KOAM News, we will share with you the post and we'll speak to one of the victims. I'm Ty Parks. I'll have that story coming up.
And North America's newest specialty crop is brewing in Southern California, but you might be surprised at the cost.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The city of Joplin works toward a decision for the future of the area where the Pennsylvania Avenue Viaduct sits. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The bridge has been closed for years after it failed inspection and deemed it unsafe for traffic. The deterioration of the bridge later closed a nearby alley due to falling debris. With the demolition of the viaduct nearing, city officials are now looking at what could be next for the site. KOAM's Samantha Walker reports.
In a public meeting at Joplin City Hall, city engineers and project consultants are detailing the options for the Pennsylvania Avenue Viaduct.
When we looked at the bridge, we looked at, well, what would it cost to repair the bridge? And anytime you looked at that cost to repair, it was a very large cost. And it's for a bridge that's no longer needed as a bridge.
City officials say demolition was long overdue, but a lack of funds continue to be a barrier. Because of a lack of grants, the project was included in the capital improvement sales tax, supported by voters in 2024. Stretched along the tables are the two main options for the site's future. The first, a concept where a road replaces the bridge, and the second, a concept without either. But because the city doesn't own everything underneath the bridge and doesn't have complete right-of-way, it makes some options more difficult.
We do not have no street right-of-way underneath the bridge, which is very unusual. So if we were to put back an at-grade road, we would have to go through the process like building a brand new street through an existing neighborhood.
Now, the demolition of the viaduct is expected to happen before the Missouri Department of Transportation begins reconstruction of 7th Street / Route 66 between Schiffendecker and Rangeline.
We have to decide what we will be doing. If we do not put a road back, then the signal at Pennsylvania and 7th, then the Highway Department does not need to replace that signal. So one benefit, one bonus would be the removal of that signal, which would make the traffic flow a lot better on 7th Street.
To get ahead of MoDOT, who plans to start work in the near future, the city will ideally make a project decision within the next month and start with demolition, the most pressing matter, and future project work later on.
So we may want to delay whatever it is we do there. We may want to delay that for later. So that could be 3, 4, 5 years from now.
Reporting in Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
If you were unable to attend today's public meeting, you can still have your voice heard and ask questions. And we have the details on how to do so on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The pursuit of a stolen car begins in Kansas and ends with an arrest in Missouri. It started this morning around 9 a.m. when Pittsburgh police located a stolen car inside city limits. Sheriff's deputies from Crawford County took over as the chase moved out of Pittsburgh and eventually east into Missouri. Officers from Crawford and Jasper counties used tire deflation devices on the vehicle, but the driver continued to flee. Authorities say the driver intentionally hit the deputies' vehicles from both counties before officers used a tactical maneuver to stop the car near Sumac and 210th in Jasper County. The Barton County Sheriff's Office and the Missouri State Highway Patrol also participated. 31-year-old Tyler Allen Cole Ritz is behind bars in Missouri. In addition to the stolen vehicle, law enforcement say they found several items of suspected stolen property from burglaries that happened over the weekend in Crawford County. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us now with a first look at weather.
We've had a few showers in the area, though you can see they're really dying down as we get into this evening. Now, we do have a few showers right along our Kansas and Oklahoma border, just north of Welsh, just south of Chautauqua. Though Chautauqua may be getting a little bit of a drizzle. Same out in Spring Valley, Columbus, or just south. Light showers. None of this is going to be producing much rain accumulation, but we're going to keep an eye on it. Now, all of this continues through the overnight hours. We're going to see isolated storms and hit and miss storms through Tuesday morning and even picking back up by Tuesday night. Now, most of these showers that are in the area right now are going to be pushing out by about 11:30 to midnight. But we have another round of isolated storms popping up as we head into Tuesday morning. But I'm going to have all those details coming up.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Over the weekend, the Baxter Springs Police Department put out a Facebook post about an increase in vehicle break-ins. Ty Parks is on the ground in Baxter Springs to find out more.
Had a new security system installed. We've always had cameras up because of these break-ins that have been happening for years. The next morning, my wife gets up, comes out, and finds both her car and my truck had been gone through. The contents were scattered all over the place.
Steve Dinger's break-in is just one of many vehicle break-ins happening in and around Baxter Springs. Jumping crime prompted this Facebook post from Baxter Springs Police over the weekend. According to the post, the Baxter Springs Police Department says it has leads but still needs help from citizens. It goes on to say officers are out patrolling and doing it in the most stealthy way possible.
Police have been great. They've stayed in touch with us. They've contacted my wife several times for the video and any other questions they've had. They've come by here several times that I've noticed, but yeah, they're doing the best they can with what they've got.
Dinger tells KOAM other people living in his neighborhood are also victims.
Boxes, but there's been several on this street particularly, but it has been happening all over town. You know, it aggravates you. It's irritating. And like I said, I'm more worried about the kids that are doing it. I don't know if it's just doing it for fun, see if they can get away with it or what it is, but I'm afraid one of them's going to get hurt.
Dinger echoes the PD's request for help.
1,500 cameras in this town. People have cameras all over their houses. And I really encourage them to share and help the police officers. Sorry. I really encourage those with cameras that are, surveying or whatever and getting images and stuff to be open to sharing them with the police officers.
Those images could be exactly what police need to make arrests.
Baxter Springs residents we talked to say they believe it is young people breaking into vehicles. Well, the Nevada, Missouri Fire Department today released details of this fire that swept through a two-story home over the weekend. Investigators say an electrical issue sparked the blaze on South Ash Street. No one was home and no one was hurt. Smoke was visible for miles this morning when fire swept through a large barn garage type building on Fur Road in rural Carthage. Flames engulfed the structure by the time crews arrived. We do not have any reports of injuries. Firefighters from Carthage, Dunwig, and Sir Coxsey all responded. Coming up, the gift of life.
It's a story of faith, friendship, and sacrifice. I'm Blake Gully. Coming up, we'll share how one church member's gift is changing a life.
And later, tax breaks on electric vehicles increase demand, but they're ending soon. What you need to know before they're gone.
A community gathers to honor those who...
A local church family is celebrating a remarkable act of generosity. One member of the Christ Church of Neodesha stepped up to save the life of another by donating his kidney. KOAM's Blake Gully has the story.
Inside Christ Church of Neodesha, faith and friendship turned into something life-changing. Chris Van Knight's a longtime church member needed a kidney transplant after years of bad health habits. That's when fellow member Matt Arnold made a decision to donate his own.
So we brought it to church and, just asked church to pray for us, help me through dialysis because it's rough. And that's when I found out Matt wanted to step up and be a donor. Sorry.
Matt says his faith in the scripture about laying down one's life for a friend inspired him to take action.
And there was something inside me that just felt like I had to help, and I felt like I was the right one for him because same blood type, same size, same frame. I felt like we were perfectly matched together, and it just somehow worked. And it obviously did, because we are a perfect match.
For Pastor Joseph, this moment goes beyond the surgery itself, saying Matt's kidney donation is a powerful example of giving.
My message would be, you never know what you may have that might meet somebody else's need. And I think we all just need to be open to that.
Open to contributing your own act of selflessness. Reported in Neodesha, Kansas, Blake Gully, KOAM News.
To help ease the financial burden, a local ministry has set up a fundraiser, and you'll find those details on our website at koamnewsnow.com. Well, Lindsay is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, more ice raids.
A new Supreme Court order clears the way for more ice raids that some called discriminatory. I'm Connor Hansen in New York. I've got the details coming up.
We've had a few showers earlier today, and we also had temperatures only reaching the upper 70s. Now, taking a look outside, we're already dropping down to about 70 degrees. We're going to be in the low 60s, upper 50s tonight for our overnight low. A lot of clouds moving into the area, but most of the heavier rain and thunderstorms stayed out to the west of us, moved out of Wichita, down to Ponca City, and then clipping maybe a couple of our far southwestern counties, out in Oklahoma. Now, zooming in, we've got a few showers lingering just north of Pittsburgh. That's a little bit of those light to moderate showers. The rest of us are just getting those light drizzles, and that's down from Pittsburgh down to Waco, Columbus, Spring Valley, just moving out of Chautauqua, north of Miami as well, and then Joplin might be getting a few of those isolated showers as well. Now, they're not getting anything yet. Taking a look at downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. We've got mostly dry conditions so far, but like I said, we could see a couple of these isolated storms that are still going to be continuing. They revamp by about 3-4 a.m. and we could see another couple out in southeastern Kansas, which we'll take a look at in a moment. But temperatures only getting down to the upper 50s, low 60s. Now here's our future track. So by this evening, before midnight, most of these showers are going to be out towards the east of us. A few showers just to the west of us. So we're kind of surrounded on both sides. And then here we are about 2:33 a.m. We get a few more isolated storms again popping up in southeastern Kansas. These are going to be brief and definitely not looking at any type of severe threat or strong storm threat. Might get a little bit of lightning, but most of these are just going to be packing some moderate rain showers. Now by 5 to 6 a.m., isolated, very isolated light showers throughout the 4 states. These all start to clear out, but again, just random pop-up storms throughout the day. So here we are, 8 a.m. Joplin's looking clear, getting into the low 60s, 59 in Pittsburgh. A lot of sunshine down in Oklahoma and Arkansas, but more storms that are going to be popping up. Same spot. Just moving over Yates Center, Fredonia, Independence, down to Bartlesville, southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma through mid-morning on Tuesday, and then another round of isolated storms hitting our northern counties. This is going to be mid-afternoon to early evening, and then they'll settle into our central counties and then further south. Now, most of us aren't going to see a ton of rain. If we do get rain, it's going to be 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. See Pittsburgh only 1/100 of an inch. Same out in Fort Scott, Iola, but just north of Iola could see about 1.5 inches. So we do have the chance to get some rain, at least maybe just a light sprinkle. You wake up and your lawn is a little wet, but we dry back out Wednesday and temperatures start to warm back up into the 90s, low 90s for the weekend.
A little bit of rain here and there keeps you from having to water those late summer flowers.
No, but it prevents you from having to mow the lawn, which I still have not done.
Oh, you didn't do it last weekend?
No, I did not.
I did get mine done yesterday.
There you go.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, a crash involving a motorcycle and car claimed the life of a young man in Joplin today. The crash happened at about 8 this morning on 20th and Schifferdecker Avenue. Authorities say the northbound motorcycle struck a southbound car. The driver of the car was not injured. A crew rushed the motorcycle driver, 18-year-old Nicholas Jones of Joplin, to the hospital, but he died of his injuries. Coming up next, mail numbers drop faster than a letter without postage. New taxes on low-valued shipments are causing an 80% drop in overseas postal traffic to the U.S. We'll explain why. At the end of August, the Trump administration started taxing low-value shipments to the U.S., and it caused an 80% drop in the amount of postal traffic coming into the country. Fox's Jared Halpern has more from the White House.
President Trump's tariff war is making it a lot harder for folks around the world to send mail to the U.S. It started back on August 29th. That's when the White House eliminated the de minimis exemption for shipments worth less than $800. Now all mail is subject to customs and tariffs, and that caused postal traffic to plunge 81% in just 10 days.
Postal providers don't have enough time to guarantee a safe and legal shipment.
The main issue is confusion about how the new tariff will be implemented, with much of the burden of collecting the taxes placed on the postal carriers themselves.
The development, the testing and the implementation of the new solutions takes time.
And it's having a big personal impact, with some countries temporarily suspending all mail into the U.S., not just packages, but letters and even postcards as well.
I wanted to send a letter to a relative in the U.S., but we couldn't send it because they told us with the tariffs, shipments to the U.S. were canceled.
But the White House is hinting this could be all temporary and a fix could be coming soon. Some experts are suggesting the president is using the exemption to cut a better deal.
He has used tariffs as a very effective bargaining tool to get very good deals with Canada, with the Europeans, with the UK, and hopefully with China.
As part of the new rule, U.S. residents will not have to pay tariffs on incoming gifts worth less than $100. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The clock is ticking if you want to buy a new or used electric vehicle and take advantage of the tax credit. It expires September 30th and can save you thousands of dollars. Prices on EVs can vary on average from $30,000 to almost $60,000. So a tax credit up to $7,500 for a new EV or $4,000 for used can be nice. And while these tax credits are going away, car dealers say the demand is still there, and you can count on incentives from the manufacturers like rebates.
They're going to make adjustments to make sure that they're not losing the momentum they've gained with those vehicles.
So I think if people get in and they realize that it's a great car, that tax credit isn't going to matter at the end of the day.
And there are other guidelines to claim the tax credit. You can only make so much money, plus the vehicle must also meet several IRS specifications, like price caps and manufacturing guidelines. Well, coming up next, helping grow community awareness with a sidewalk of hope. September is Suicide Awareness Month, and a local group wants to bring hope to people who are struggling. Today, family response advocates with the Pittsburgh Police Department created a sidewalk of hope in front of the Law Enforcement Center. Now, the project is designed to help grow community awareness, honor life, and show there are resources to help.
The goal is to remember who you are and that your life matters and that there is hope for you. There is help for you, and we are here to be able to do those things.
If you or someone you know is thinking about suicide, they can call the Suicide Prevention Hotline at 988. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Russia continues its attack on Ukraine with more than 800 drones causing serious damage in Ukraine's capital. And 6 people are killed and dozens injured when 2 Palestine gunmen launch an attack during morning rush hour in Jerusalem.
Nope, sure don't.
Wow.
High five. Almost. Higher. Yes. Nope.
Get 4 phones plus 4 lines for $90 with no trade-in, and we'll pay off your current contract when you switch. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
She's all yours.
I'll take those.
When a tractor is as easy to use as the all-new, tougher, smarter Mahindra 1100 series, you can get right to work. And with a wide range of attachments, intuitive tech, and the ability to lift almost 800 pounds without breaking a sweat, you might not want to stop. Mahindra, out working the field. It's 0 for 84 and 2,000 cash or up to 5,000 back on the all-new Mahindra 1100 and 2100.
This is Paul with Tatum Motor Company in Anderson, Missouri and Tiny Town, Arkansas. See us today.
This month, we're going for the green.
So tee up and drive your way to Prairie Moon Casino.
And put your way to big wins.
Come howl with us.
American Legion Post 13 invites all military veterans to the Benefits Expo on September 11th. Organizations will be on hand to provide updates on important services to veterans. Get connected at the Veterans Benefits Expo on September 11th.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Immigration arrests could ramp up again after the Supreme Court lifts limits on ICE raids. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has more.
A new Supreme Court decision clears the way for more immigration raids like this one near Los Angeles last month, when masked federal agents rolled up in an unmarked box truck and took more than a dozen migrants into custody. The High Court voted 6-3 to temporarily lift a lower court ruling, stopping agents from making arrests based on things like their race, language, job, or location.
You can use race as a factor to discriminate potentially against Angelenos and Californians based on race.
In her dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote countless people in the Los Angeles area have been grabbed, thrown to the ground, and handcuffed simply because of their looks, their accents, and the fact that they make a living doing manual labor. Today, the court needlessly subjects countless more to these exact same indignities. ICE raids in LA sparked protests, and President Trump sent National Guard troops and Marines into the city.
This is great for our agents, but it's even better for the citizens of California and our country because it's going to move the impediment of us allowing to go after these criminals that are all over the country.
President Trump is signaling other cities are next.
We'd love to go into Chicago and straighten it out.
DHS has now announced Operation Midway Blitz after weeks of speculation about more raids coming to Chicago. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Russia continues to intensify its attacks on Ukraine, launching the largest air assault in nearly 4 years of war. Russia deployed a swarm of more than 800 drones this weekend. That's according to Ukraine's Air Force. The assault caused serious damage in Ukraine's capital, hitting a key government building and killing at least 4 people, including a 2-month-old baby. It comes just 3 weeks after the historic face-to-face meeting between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska.
His willingness to meet with President Trump on Alaska was actually because of the fact that he was really scared about sanctions.
Well, Sunday, President Trump said he was ready to hit Russia with a second phase of sanctions. He also indicated he expects to speak with Putin in the next few days. Well, tensions remain high in the Middle East in the wake of an attack in Jerusalem this morning, the deadliest in the Israeli city since 2023. At least 6 people were killed and a dozen injured when Palestinian attackers opened fire at a bus stop in Jerusalem. Israeli police said 2 gunmen launched the attack during morning rush hour. A security officer and an armed civilian returned fire, killing the attackers.
2 Palestinian terrorists murdered Jews on buses at the Ramot Junction in the entrance to Jerusalem. So far, 6 Israelis have been killed. There are many injured, including pregnant women. We pray for them. We are in a war with radical Islamist terrorism.
The attack comes a day after President Trump gave what he called a last warning to Hamas to agree to his terms for ending the war in the region, adding that Israel had accepted his proposed ceasefire and hostage release agreement. Lindsay's next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, American-grown coffee.
North America's newest specialty crop is brewing in the fields of Southern California, but you might be surprised at what it is and just how much it'll cost you. That's coming up.
Did you get a switch?
We've had a few showers and some still lingering, but we can go ahead and take a look outside our current conditions out in 7th and Range Line. Still dry out there in the Joplin area. Temperatures are dropping down into the low 70s, and we're going to get down into the low 60s to upper 50s tonight. Now, a lot of our rain has pretty much dried out. Pittsburgh got a few showers. That's heading into Lamar right now. Though zooming into the Joplin area, not seeing much. Spring Valley still getting some drizzle, and then heading into Carthage, maybe a little drizzle as well. But all of this is starting to taper off as we go through the rest of the overnight hours. Now taking a look at downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. Looking pretty good out there. Again, didn't get any showers in the Joplin area, so stayed dry. Now tonight, we're getting down into the upper 50s, low 60s, so slightly below average, but still pretty cool as we head into Tuesday. Now we could still see a couple of isolated storms tonight, revamping back again about 3 a.m. So here we are, midnight. Most of these showers are out to the east of us. Here comes an isolated storm there starting to pop up in southeastern Kansas, in pretty much the same path that these showers earlier tonight just went through. Again, moving into Oswego, Columbus, Chautauqua, maybe into the Joplin area by about 5-6 a.m. Not seeing long-lived storms. Most of these are going to taper off pretty quickly. As we get through later in the day, we're going to start to see a few more popping up in our northern counties, but we get some sunshine. This is going to be early morning to mid-morning. We're going to see random storms just filtering through throughout the day. Now here we are, 11 a.m., another round. Again, same path, moving into Independence, Oswego, Columbus, and then dying down. Now, later in the afternoon, our last round of rain pushing into our northern counties and then settles into the central counties, getting down to Pittsburgh, Joplin by about 4 to 5, maybe even 6 p.m. But Fort Scott getting some heavy rain out there, and all of this pushes out towards our southeast. So we do still have some hit and miss rain chances. Most of us are going to get to stay mostly dry, or only have 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of rain accumulation, so not much at all. But some areas, especially in our northern counties, and maybe even down to the Joplin area, could see 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch of rain. Not a lot, but something that could be slightly disruptive or just a little inconvenient as you make your way through the day. We're back to partly cloudy skies, but dry weather on Wednesday. Temperatures in the low 90s on Thursday, but pretty cloudy. Low 90s Friday and Saturday, even into Sunday. So we have a pretty warm weekend. Sunshine returns, and no more rain or widespread rain until next week.
Yeah. We're going to have a kind of a hot weekend. It's like a return of summer.
It is a return of summer. I mean, we weren't quite going to get too lucky with fall coming this early, but it'll be here soon.
I know. Or it'll be here soon enough, and we will be ready for it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Lindsay. Well, Prince Harry returns home to the United Kingdom to pay tribute to his late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. The Duke of Sussex made a short visit to Windsor today. He laid a wreath and flowers in St. George's Chapel in honor of the late Queen. It's unclear whether he plans to meet his father, King Charles III. Now, the father and son's last encounter was in February of 2024, when the Duke rushed back to the UK after his father's cancer diagnoses. Still ahead, two Kansas high school volleyball teams square off, and we get a closer look at the Carl Junction football team after its 2-0 start. Ben McLeish has those stories and more up next in sports.
30th annual.
Carl Junction football is off to its first 2-0 start since 2016, and the Bulldogs are completely bought in. After 3 straight losing seasons from 2021 to 2023, Carl Junction finished 2024 with a winning 6-5 record. Now the Bulldogs look to build off that success, and they're off to an incredible start with 2 straight double-digit wins. Carl Junction head coach Todd Hafner is thrilled with his team's progression in the offseason.
Really, I think week one went as good as it could. I think the week of preparation that we had, along with the way that our kids played, we ask them to do a lot of things, and we ask them to do a lot of hard things that other kids don't want to do. And the fact that they have bought into that, they went out Friday night and played as good as Carl Junction football as I've seen in the 3 years that I've been back. And I was excited for them. I really believe that if we can continue to prepare and do things right, that things will go well for us.
The Bulldogs will be the first to tell you that the results on the field are a reflection of two major things. One, the players have worked hard all offseason to get better on the field and in the weight room, with an emphasis on strength and conditioning. Two, this team has much more experience than last year, with plenty of juniors and seniors to lead the way.
Conditioning was a big part of it. We have a lot of guys playing both ways this year, so we definitely have to be conditioned. And then obviously getting bigger, faster, stronger in the weight room.
I think we're more experienced. Last year we probably played 16 or 17 sophomores or juniors. And so this year's team now is juniors and seniors, and I think that makes a huge difference in our leadership. Again, it goes back to how our kids play and things like that, and our kids want to do well.
Okay. Next up, the Bulldogs travel to Marshfield for their first road game of the season against the 2-0 Blue Jays. Two Kansas high school volleyball teams face off tonight, Southeast versus Colgan. Lancers hosting the Panthers in the first set. Bella Asiano serving it for Colgan. The Lancers set it up for Aubrey Smith, whose attack can't be returned by the Panthers, and Smith gets the kill. Lancers trail 3-2. Elena White serving for Southeast. Katie Pauly's spike is tipped and goes out of bounds as Pauly earns the kill. Colgan leads 12-6. A few points later, Emma Gideon serving. Asiano can't return the save, and she secures the kill. Panthers lead 14-7. Towards the end of the set, the libero, Callie Lundy, serves it. The team gets a good volley in. Pauly on the attack for the Panthers, but there's Braylon Sutton with a nice dive to keep the point alive. But it's Sarah Skyby who gets the kill for the Panthers, and they go on to win the first set. In Major League Baseball, the Royals and Cardinals begin series on the road tonight. The Royals take on Cleveland in a divisional matchup, and they get dominated by the Guardians. The Royals don't register a hit until the 8th inning and give up 6 runs in the 4th inning. Final score 10-2. The Cardinals head out to the West Coast for a series with the Mariners. The Cardinals could do the Royals a favor with a win over Seattle, as the Mariners currently hold that last AL wildcard spot. Right now, the Cards are leading 2-0 thanks to an Alec Burleson home run. For the second straight week, a Missouri Southern football player earns MIAA weekly honors. Lions freshman quarterback Tillman Martin is named MIAA Offensive Player of the Week for his performance against SBU. Martin threw for 446 yards and 4 touchdowns, adding a touchdown on the ground as well. And the best stat of the day, of course, was the win. Martin is now 2-0 in his collegiate career, and the Lions' first 2-0 start since 2013.
Well, back to Carl Junction football, like how special is this for the team to start off with a 2-0 record?
Yeah, they really built their team last season. This year they were looking to get even better, and right now it looks like it. Great start. They really dominated both games.
All right, sounds great. We're back with more news after this. The U.S. may not rank in the top coffee-producing countries in the world, but farmers in California are banking that an American brew will lead to a loyal customer base. Fox Business correspondent Max Gordon has this story.
We're here at Hobson Family Farms in Ventura County, where they've planted around 18,000 coffee trees. Now, these trees are between 4 to 5 years old, and they're just now bearing their first major crop of coffee cherries. The coffee bean is actually inside these cherries, and the cherry itself is pretty sweet. Not so sweet are the challenges that are facing coffee farmers here in Southern California between the land costs, water costs, and labor costs.
You clearly don't know what you're doing, do you? Is the standard reaction. And it's like, how much money are you spending and what kind of idiot are you? It is not a standard farming practice. And it's hard to convince long-term farmers that this is a worthwhile crop to pursue.
According to the USDA, the top coffee growing countries in the world include Brazil, Vietnam, and Colombia. The United States is only 38th in the world for coffee production. But instead of competing in quantity, Southern California's coffee growers are trying to compete in quality. Hobson Family Farms is the largest coffee grower for Fringe Coffee, a coffee processor and distributor and the pioneer in the California-grown coffee movement. Fringe is currently selling 5-ounce bags of geisha beans to the discerning coffee consumer for $95. That results in cups of coffee that run between $15 to $20 a pop. But Fringe's founder says there's a growing market for their beans, especially in Asia.
These coffees are more like the tea palettes where they have these floralities, they have some balance and some complexities. And so you're seeing a lot within the Japan, Taiwan, South Korea, and then you're getting a lot of that same population coming here to Southern California and California that are opening up those same type of tea or coffee businesses. And that's what's really driving this market.
Fringe has big plans for the Southern California coffee industry. They want to turn this region into the Napa Valley of coffee with tasting rooms and tours. And I can confirm it is a great cup of joe. But will consumers be willing to shell out $15 to $20 per cup? Only time will tell. In Ventura County, California, Max Gordon, Fox Business.
Well, dinosaurs roar to the top this week. Find out what's new in home entertainment up next. Monstrous creatures, a female assassin, and a Grammy-winning singer are among the latest digital DVD and music releases available to add to your home library. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin runs down the list of what's new in home entertainment.
The dinos roar to the top of this week's list of new home releases. Jurassic World Rebirth stars Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and Jonathan Bailey as a covert team recovering dinosaur DNA while dodging predators and rescuing a stranded family.
This is awesome!
Disney's animated space adventure Elio centers on an 11-year-old boy abducted by aliens and mistaken for Earth's leader.
You don't choose to be a killer. You are chosen.
Ana de Armas leads the John Wick spin-off Ballerina as a revenge-seeking assassin hunting down the men who killed her family.
My instincts are usually right.
Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal star in the rom-com Materialists. The story follows a New York City matchmaker caught in a love triangle between her struggling actor ex and a wealthy suitor.
I'm going to get the package.
Rebel Wilson goes full-blown action hero in Bride Hard, playing a secret agent out to save her friend's wedding and their friendship.
Don't live here, don't serve here.
The psychological thriller The Surfer stars Nicolas Cage as a man fighting to reclaim his beachfront home from a hostile surf crew. Liam Neeson plays a trucker on a deadly mission in Ice Road Vengeance, fighting mercenaries while heading to Mount Everest to honor his late brother's final wish.
This place is insane.
Small screen favorites to own, The White Lotus Season 3 starring Leslie Bibb, Carrie Coon, Walton Goggins, and more.
The lights, your face.
In music, Grammy winner Ed Sheeran kicks off a new era with Play, closing the chapter on his mathematical album series. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of rescued vervet monkeys at an animal sanctuary in Dania Beach, Florida. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.